Yeah, we've got a good few rounds under our belts now. The pace this year is unreal, like crazy fast. Such tight margins.
Yeah, before it was like a little bit less pressure on this first quali run. I mean, now it's, top 20, which you think of the standard at the minute is high as it's ever been. So just to even get in the top 20, I think it's separated by about 3.5, 4 seconds. So you've really got to push on that first run if you don't want to go up and do Q2. Poland went into Q2, and you go through them highs and lows again, like you do a quali. It's taken years off my life, that one race, I think. So no, I'm sitting in 12th at the minute. There's a few left, but fingers crossed I'll be through Q1. So that's weight off the shoulders, and just keen to rip it tomorrow.
But this 10-round World Cup is pretty relentless. Leaves very little time for development and progressing the product. But the boys have done an amazing job. We've already got a top 10 under our belt with Luke out in Loudenvielle, Charlie 12th in Leogang. So the pace is very, very nearly there. And you look how close those times are, and the smallest of kind of question, I suppose, in terms of bike setup is going to make a difference. So the fact those boys are on new bikes and we're changing them all the time they're doing an amazing job, really.
We've had a mix of tracks, mix of weather conditions. So it's been a great test for the bike, but it's been really tricky, to be honest. The pace now of the racing is super high, so you need to be almost on it from run one, which makes it very difficult to focus on trying to really progress the bike, because you're obviously focusing on lines and getting sort of fast on the track. So it's been a bit of a tough process, really. The bike does feel really good, so I think we got it in a good spot, but just like that last percentage, I think we're not quite there. But I mean, we're 3 races, 3 World Cup deeps on this new bike, so I mean it's going to take definitely more time. Obviously, each track's different. It's always different weather, so it's really tough to get the perfect setup for each track, which I don't even know if it's possible to have the perfect setup. Obviously there's got to be some compromise. Like Leogang, for example, last week I was struggling with the bike being a little too soft at the top. It's very fast, very you almost need a bike quite firm, just so you can really pump, generate speed and carry speed, and then as soon as you get into the woods you almost want the bike to be completely opposite. So that was pretty tough. I think looking at sector times last week, lost a lot of time at the top, which was partly me riding, and I had the bike set up really well for the woods. So it's definitely a tough balance, but we're getting there. Me and Ben over the winter, we've been slowly developing and always progressing the mud modifications. So basically just keeping the mud out of the belt so it never derails, which, to be fair, we've not had any problems with, so that's been really good. And then we've further developed them mud mods into making them a little bit less prototypey, because at the start it was just instead of 3D printing a part, we was using moldable plastic, which was great for development phase. And now the guys at Atherton Bikes have done a nice neat job of it. So that side's really good.
Rocks are bad, and Charlie will find them. The bash guard, essentially it's the same as what you'd run on a normal mountain bike bash guard. The same reason, if you take a hit from a rock or a stump or anything like that, which is going to bend or damage your chain or chain ring, it's exactly the same on a belt and a belt drive. You have exactly the same problems. So the bash guard is just to protect the belt and the chain ring. Not chain ring, what do you call it? Primary drive ring. If you're ever going to have a problem with rocks hitting the bike, it's going to be in Fort William. Up to that point, we hadn't had any. Because the ground clearance is so much better, we were like, it seems to be fine. And then Fort William, it showed us that we needed a bash ring. So here we are with a bash ring. Yeah, luckily we've got some good engineers, and they just drew it up, and next day CNC'd part from somewhere in the world, and we had it. Yeah, it was really good.
Obviously what we found in testing, sometimes the stuff that feels good and feels nice on the clock is actually slower. For me, there's like a very fine balance point between having the bike soft that is good traction and firm so you can really carry speed and really, you imagine you hit a compression and your bike's soft, your limit of the speed is going to be slower. So if your bike's firmer, you can hit that compression harder. But then obviously it becomes the balance of, you could have your bike so stiff that you could smash these compressions, you'd be fine, but as soon as you try and go around a flat corner, you've got no grip. So that's like the balance that's very, very tough. But it seems to be, as I'm going faster, I need my bike to be firmer, which is a given really. But it's just really hard to find that perfect align really. Now the guys at Fox, we are so tunable on the suspension that you can change that so much to cater for how the bike works as well. Yeah, it's very different to know whether you just change suspension to sort of change the kinematic of the bike, or you change the whole platform of the frame. So yeah, that's always going to be a tough one. With the suspension being very tunable, it's very quick and easy to change that instead of like creating a whole new platform for the bike, which is obviously going to take a lot more time. So I think you need to do is work in a range with that, like with the suspension, and then as soon as you're out of that range, then you need to start doing stuff with the frame. Yeah, I think it's always going to be a moving prototype. I mean, the A200 was literally 5 years later still making small changes, so like that's a massive time scale. And I mean, we've had the bike for probably seven months, so yeah, definitely still a lot to learn, definitely still a lot to try. I think definitely got some feedback for the guys now after last week of some ideas for changing the kinematic slightly, which would be interesting to hear their feedback. Also working with the guys from Fox as well, like I've gone firmer on the tune each time, and I've like, in the minute we can either change from like a linear stack on the compression, or we can go to a split stack on this compression, so it's like a little softer off the top. But I think our bike's really good at that anyway, so we're normally on the linear setup, but I keep adding more compression. So yeah, I think there's room to maybe try some stuff with the kinematic there. So yeah, definitely some stuff to try.